But I also think something good about this coronavirus is you're not outside as much, so it's much better for climate change, much better for the climate. I'm very worried about the climate, and I think it's good for, well, of course the coronavirus isn't good, but I mean, like, there's less cars being drived, there's less gas in the air, less people outside throwing plastic, so it's better for the climate.
Before lockdown, I used to go to school trips to the National Museum of Scotland. Me and my family used to go to parks, restaurants and beaches. In lockdowns, isolated, I had to do online schooling on my screen time is approximately 6 to 8 hours and 38 minutes. 30 minutes. I couldn't go out to the park or the beach.
We also had the maths. Oh my gosh, I don't like maths to begin with, but online maths is even worse because the teacher's not there to explain everything to you, and I'm asking my parents all these questions and they might not know like how I do it in school instead of when they were kids, so really not fun.
COVID came at an unfortunate time for my transition from primary school to high school, because usually we'd have had like the 3 days of transition of us being there instead, and we'd have all of the parties and things, but we obviously couldn't do that because of lockdown.
Hello, I am a S2 student about to move into S3 at the end of the term. My life has changed quite a lot during lockdown because obviously before, one, I did a lot more exercise. I would cycle 2 miles to school and 2 miles back every day. I would do PE in school. Now obviously I can't do so much. Also at the end of our term, me and my mum were planning to move to Hong Kong for S3 and for her to get a new job, and that's been messed up a bit. It's going to be harder to do that. We're hoping to still do it, but it's going to be harder.
Hi, I'm Gilda and I'm 13 years old. I just began S2 last week. My experience in lockdown was challenging. Lockdown began in May last year, and at that point I was in P7, about to transfer into high school. Usually there would have been a transition day, a tour of the school, and meeting of the teachers, but this year there wasn't due to lockdown. When I was in primary school, we had the same teacher for a year and got to know them well, so this was a big change for me. I was told I would be back in the situation for 2 weeks. I would be back for the end of term dance, the leavers assembly and the signing of shirts. But I found myself going into S1 with none of the promised things and totally unprepared.
First thing about lockdown is hit me. I was a student in school, so it affects my exams and obviously having all the chaos with not knowing your results, and for fives in my case. So that kind of uncertainty, I guess it brought. I think that was the biggest change, just not being in school and adapting to online learning. And just trying to manage your day, I think, is the biggest thing.
I started my last year of high school last week, so my drama exam would have, right now my drama class would have been doing a devised unit, so that's when we all direct each other and make pieces of like a stimuli. So it would have been from like Stanislavski or things like that, and we would try and copy their style and make a performance out of it for part of our unit assessment. But we're unable to do that because we can't get together and practice. So one thing that we're doing instead of that is we've all picked a monologue from different places and we've been working on them. So it's given us a bit more freedom, so we're able to find our own pieces and do more research and have our independence in the work we're finding rather than just getting given something. So that's been something quite good that's come out of it.
That is another thing that I find really good now, just actually being back in the physical school building. I know that's not possible for every school, whether it be because they've had more COVID cases or just one reason or another. But I definitely feel like I learn a lot better in the actual building than I do just looking at a screen from 9 a.m. to 4. So
I'd say another big change was just being like with family all the time. So I was with like my family, which is my parents, mum and dad, and 2 sisters, younger and older. And yeah, just trying to not rub each other the wrong way. A typical day was getting up at 8:30, hopping on Teams and doing Zoom. This was obviously like prior to summer, so from late March to May, and just like giving them evidence is what we did for school.
And I can't do so much exercise, which also isn't good because sport's like my favourite thing. The gym's shut, the swimming pool's shut. It's not been so good. I think the hardest part for me during lockdown would be not seeing my friends or anyone else I normally see in my normal everyday life, because I'm quite a social person, and I mean I've been stuck with my family for a long time now, and I'm not seeing much else apart from my cousins.
Me and my brother both go to Scouts, and we couldn't do a camping in like a place far away in like a cabin or something to get our badges because like of lockdown and all of that. So instead we camped in our back garden in a tent that we have, and we did that for most of April in 2020.
The thing I missed the most was going outside and seeing my friends a lot and visiting family and just doing stuff outside. And like now it's just weird because we're all wearing masks in school and there's hand sanitizer everywhere.
During the period of lockdown, I have spent lots of time with my family, and as to the near end of lockdown, the restrictions slowly were easing, so I got my hopes up that we were going to go to school soon. Yay!
But unfortunately, our little one, primary school, in a public school here at the Edinburgh Council, she has no contact time with her teacher. So the hardest part is this for us, is to support not just the homeschooling part of our little one, but also her social life.
One that's particularly hard is when people are struggling more and family members maybe having much harder challenges. I think particularly for those who are in, my eldest is in the final year of high school, it's been so disruptive. And I think seeing that for her, that's one of the hardest bits, is seeing those kind of rites of passage and the journey of adolescence just so disrupted and having an impact on how you feel about the world and see the world. And that was definitely seen and felt in our house. I think that was one of the hardest things, I think, at the point where you want to see your child having freedom and enjoying more independence, and seeing them forced backwards in a way, down the kind of adolescent development ladder, as it were. That's quite hard. But harder for her than it was for me. So thankfully, thank God, things are changing now.
I would want everyone on the streets to have a home, and for everyone to have food, and for everyone to be more safe. I would want the virus to be controlled and for everything to go back to normal. Thank you for watching.